real Enchiridion, the lost philosophy of Epictetus. It's not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. This is one of the most profound Stoic teachings, and yet in today's world of self-help gurus and motivational sound bites, its true meaning is often lost. The Enchiridion, written nearly 2,000 years ago, was never meant to be just another self-improvement manual. It was a survival guide for life's harshest realities. But over time, its teachings have been misinterpreted, watered down, and in some cases, completely misunderstood. Today, we dive deep into the real Enchiridion, the philosophy of Epictetus as it was meant to be understood. We'll uncover its core lessons, correct the modern distortions, and most importantly, explore how to apply its wisdom in our daily lives. The origins of the Enchiridion. To understand the Enchiridion, we need to understand the man behind it, Epictetus. Born into slavery in the Roman Empire, Epictetus knew suffering intimately. He was physically crippled, endured hardships few of us could imagine, and yet through philosophy, he achieved an unshakable sense of freedom. Unlike other Stoics who were aristocrats or emperors, Epictetus taught from experience. His philosophy wasn't theoretical, it was a survival mechanism. His student Arrian compiled his teachings into two works: the Discourses, a detailed collection of philosophical dialogues, and the Enchiridion, a condensed guide to life. The Enchiridion was never meant to be a book of feel-good advice. It was a handbook for warriors of the mind, people who needed to endure suffering, maintain inner peace, and master their own reactions to the world around them. Core teachings Enchiridion. Now let's break down the core lessons from the Enchiridion that are still relevant today, but often misunderstood. Control versus not in control. Epictetus teaches that the key to peace lies in understanding what is within our control and what is not. He writes, "Some things are up to us and some are not." Modern self-help misinterprets this as just focus on what you can control and ignore everything else. But Epictetus isn't saying we should be indifferent to the world. He's saying we should shift our effort and emotions toward what we can influence, while accepting the rest with grace. Many people struggle with this concept because they instinctively resist what they cannot control. They get angry at bad luck, frustrated with politics, or upset when life doesn't unfold the way they planned. Epictetus reminds us that this resistance is the source of suffering. Application. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. They can control their diet, training, and mindset, but not the weather on race day, their competitor's performance, or even an unexpected injury. The Stoic approach focuses entirely on the effort, not the outcome. This principle also applies to relationships. You cannot control how others perceive you, only how you conduct yourself. If someone dislikes you unjustly, you can respond with dignity, but their opinion remains outside your control. Understanding this liberates you from emotional turmoil. Desiring nothing, ultimate freedom. Epictetus challenges us to free ourselves from attachment to external things. If you want nothing, you are free. Modern consumer culture promotes the opposite, happiness tied to achievement, status, and material wealth. But Epictetus saw dependence on external things as a form of slavery. The more you crave validation, possessions, or prestige, the more control the world has over you. Desires create vulnerabilities. When we tie our happiness to wealth, beauty, or fame, we give power to forces beyond our control. Epictetus's ideal of freedom comes not from having everything, but from needing nothing. Application. Steve Jobs famously wore the same outfit daily, a black turtleneck and jeans, not out of fashion laziness, but because he understood that detaching from trivial choices freed his mind for greater work. But this concept goes deeper. Minimalism isn't just about reducing possessions, it's about reducing emotional dependencies. A person who craves recognition will suffer if they are ignored. A person who needs constant approval will be tormented by criticism. The true Stoic is free because their peace is self-generated. Reframing pain and suffering. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. This is the essence of cognitive reframing, an idea now embraced by modern psychology. The events themselves don't disturb us, it's our interpretation that does. Most people believe suffering comes from external events. a failed exam, a lost job, a personal betrayal. But Stoicism teaches that suffering comes from within, from the meaning we assign to those events. Two people can experience the same hardship, yet respond in entirely different ways. Application. Prisoners of war have survived brutal captivity by mentally reframing their suffering. Admiral James Stockdale, imprisoned for over 7 years, credited Stoicism, particularly Epictetus's teachings, with his survival. He shifted his mindset from victimhood to agency, focusing only on what he could control, his thoughts and resilience. This lesson can transform daily life. Traffic isn't inherently frustrating, it's our impatience that makes it so. A rude comment isn't inherently hurtful, it's our ego that reacts. When we master this perspective shift, suffering loses its grip on us. The illusion of insults and praise. Epictetus warns against basing our self-worth on what others think. If someone speaks ill of you, do not make excuses, but reply, "He does not know my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these." In today's world of social media, this lesson is more relevant than ever. The modern obsession with likes, comments, and public validation would horrify Epictetus. True freedom, he teaches, is in not being swayed by either insults or praise. Imagine a person controlled by public opinion, happy when praised, devastated when criticized. Their inner peace is at the mercy of external forces. The Stoic, however, is unmoved by either. Application. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic, would read criticism without reacting emotionally. He treated praise and hate equally. Both were just noise, external to his inner principles. This lesson extends beyond social media. Consider workplace criticism. Some take it personally and spiral into self-doubt, while others use it constructively, remaining emotionally steady. The Stoic doesn't ignore feedback, but filters it rationally, accepting only what serves growth. Furthermore, praise can be just as dangerous. Seeking validation makes us dependent on others' approval. A true Stoic works for virtue, not applause. The goal isn't to be admired, but to be steadfast in one's values regardless of external opinions. Amorphi loving fate. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it does. Then you will be happy. Nietzsche later called this concept amor fati, loving one's fate. It's not just about acceptance, but embracing every event, good or bad, as a necessary part of our growth. Most people resist fate. They wish events had unfolded differently, lament missed opportunities, or resent hardships. Epictetus argues that this resistance creates suffering. Instead of rejecting reality, we must align ourselves with it, seeing everything as an opportunity for growth. Application, a job loss, a breakup, or a failure, these aren't setbacks, but redirections. The sooner we stop resisting reality, the faster we can use it to grow. Consider historical figures who embodied amor fati. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, yet he saw failure as progress. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, used his suffering to cultivate wisdom, later leading South Africa's reconciliation. Their mindset wasn't just endurance, it was an active embrace of fate as a guiding force. We can apply this in our daily lives. Instead of cursing inconveniences, we can train ourselves to think, how is this helping me grow? A canceled flight could be an opportunity for unexpected rest, a tough boss, a teacher in patience. Loving fate isn't about blind optimism, it's about transforming obstacles into fuel for strength. By internalizing this lesson, we stop feeling like victims and start seeing ourselves as collaborators with destiny. By internalizing these lessons, we can navigate life with resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. The power of habit and discipline. Epictetus emphasizes that philosophy is not merely something to be studied, but something to be practiced daily. He believed that discipline and habit are the foundation of a virtuous life. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Stoicism isn't about reading wisdom, it's about living it. If we want to develop strength of character, we must practice restraint, discipline, and patience every day, even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient. Modern psychology aligns with this idea. Studies show that habits shape our identity over time. A person who consistently exercises becomes a disciplined person. A person who always speaks the truth becomes an honest person. Our actions, repeated daily, define who we are. Application. Develop morning and evening routines to strengthen mental resilience. Journaling, meditation, or reading Stoic philosophy can set the tone for the day. Practice voluntary discomfort, such as fasting, cold showers, or taking on small challenges, to build endurance against hardship. Choose one virtue to develop over the next 30 days, such as patience, gratitude, or courage, and track daily progress. Epictetus knew that true self-improvement isn't achieved in a single moment of inspiration, but through relentless practice over time. Philosophy is a way of life, not a hobby. How to apply the Enchiridion today? The modern world offers countless distractions and illusions that pull us away from Stoic wisdom. We are taught to chase things we don't control, to obsess over opinions that don't matter, and to fear suffering rather than embrace it as part of life. Epictetus Enchiridion is not just philosophy, it's a radical call to arms. It's a guide to reclaiming your mind, detaching from illusions, and living with true peace. So I challenge you today, pick just one lesson from the Enchiridion and apply it. Whether it's letting go of control, detaching from praise, or reframing pain, put Stoicism to the test in your own life. Because philosophy isn't just something to read, it's something to live. If you found value in this breakdown of Epictetus Enchiridion, don't forget to like and subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more deep philosophical insights. And let me know in the comments, what's one Stoic principle you struggle with the most? Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay Stoic.